I wanted to take you to this site in Antioch today. It's a really busy Sunday afternoon. Behind me is a church named after St. Peter. You can see some of the caves and niches up on the wall there. That particular church is on the front of what might have been in the early years of the church a place of prayer on Sundays like this. Now it's named after St. Peter, which was one of the reasons I wanted to take you here. Antioch is known especially for Paul and for the early mission to the Gentiles that was in many cases the result of Paul's missionary journeys. But Paul always went to the synagogue first. His ministry was to the Jews and then the Gentiles. But here in Antioch, Paul actually confronted Peter. Peter came up here, and Paul says in Galatians 2, when Peter came to Antioch, I opposed him to his face because he was in the wrong. Certain men came from James in Jerusalem, and they were challenging him about eating with the Gentiles. And so Paul says the other Jews joined him in his hypocrisy, and they even led Barnabas astray. Paul goes on here in Galatians to talk about a common doctrine that we call justification by faith. But the context of it was that here in Antioch, one of the centers where the Holy Spirit was very evident among Gentile believers who didn't accept Judaism in the normal process of becoming proselytes, they were now the result of the early fruits, the first fruits of the Spirit in the Roman world. And so between Acts 14 and 15, there's going to be word of this down in Jerusalem, and eventually Paul and Barnabas will go to Jerusalem to really defend and explain the work of the Holy Spirit up here. Well, when Peter comes up, Paul notices that Peter is going to separate himself from Gentiles at the table. Table fellowship was a very significant way to distinguish between those that were keeping kosher laws and keeping themselves pure from Gentiles. And Paul will separate them.